Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So Twitter continues to prove itself as the peak arena for people to say absolutely ludicrous things online. People can go to Twitter and say the most illogical things and they will still receive an immense amount of support as long as it fits people's desired narratives. So today we're going to look at a couple of examples proving just that, and we're going to start with this tweet right here. So over the past couple of days, there's been some discussion about the Lollipop Chainsaw franchise and the main character Juliet Starling. So one of the tweets we saw has to do with people reminding everyone, despite all of the themes in this game that people have called problematic, misogynistic, sexist, the game still has an immensely sizable female fan base. And for a game that centers around a busty, blonde, scantily clad cheerleader who cuts people in half with a chainsaw, it proves that everyone enjoys that sort of thing. It's not just men, it's also females. But other people have been making different arguments extending upon that, like the tweet you are looking at now. So this person said, the idea of Lollipop Chainsaw being for men is crazy because I don't know too many cis straight men who would say, yes, this is my aesthetic. So we have to ask the question that is in the title of this video. Men, particularly straight men, do you find this attractive? Well, the answer might shock you because it's no, at least according to Twitter users like this. Yeah, we're trying to wrap our heads around the fact that straight men would enjoy a game that features a busty blonde cheerleader in a very skimpy outfit. How is that hard for you to comprehend? One of the things that people like this point out is like, they have like this exclusionary view of these things. Like if gay people like this game, then clearly straight people can enjoy it too, and vice versa. When in reality, everyone enjoys this franchise. For the reasons we talked about, despite being called sexist, women like to see characters like this too, and so do men. Both gay, straight, whatever. It's crazy to me people can't comprehend the reality that gay people, straight people, women and females, women and men can all enjoy the same thing without making it exclusionary. And Lollipop Chainsaw is just that. And really, there's nothing else to say about that. If you can't wrap your head around the fact that straight men could like this, I don't know what reality you're in, but somehow this still receives a decent amount of support. That is what's crazy to me. But speaking of Lollipop Chainsaw, the game itself, cult classic from about a decade ago. Very good game. I mean, it's a type of game where you get an achievement for looking up her skirt, and then the next minute you get an achievement for cutting someone in half with a chainsaw. It's got something for everyone. But what I'm worried about is not tweets like this. It's the remake that is coming this year. It is on the way, and if it goes anywhere near the route of the Resident Evil 4 remake, there's reasons for concern because this game features a lot of fan service. So if they're going to do what Resident Evil 4's remake did, we're in for some big trouble because this game will be heavily censored and it will piss people off. Because again, if they're going to censor the fan service in this game, they might as well censor everything, including cutting people in half with chainsaws. Why is violence okay, but the sexual themes not okay in this day and age? It makes absolutely no sense. And I'm worried about this game, but I'm going to remain hopeful that they do the right thing and stay true to the original message and openness of the game and not shy away from these themes. So, speaking of just saying things online with no logic attached to them, this is a little bit of an update to a story we covered yesterday. So, this person came on and got a viral tweet saying, your reminder that Samus of Metroid is canonically a 6'3" tall transgender woman. Media representation matters. So you're probably rolling your eyes. There's absolutely no support for this, by the way. It's all headcanon. And there's some other reasons that make this incredibly ironic, but we'll get into that in a second. But the update for this is that since yesterday, they got fact-checked. Twitter came in and provided some additional details that rebuke their claim that Samus is transgender. Now, getting fact-checked by Twitter is quite possibly the most humiliating thing that could ever happen to a person. It is the equivalent of a student getting the wrong answer in class and then the teacher putting a dunce cap on them, putting them in the corner while the other students throw rotten tomatoes at them. It is humiliating. If I ever got fact-checked on Twitter, I would immediately swan dive out my window. It's just that bad. But here is the fact check. It says, it's unlikely that Samus is a trans woman. Hirofumi Matsuoka, a background designer for Super Metroid, made this claim in a possibly derogatory manner during an interview published in a guide for the game. So this is something we talked about yesterday. Basically, this designer, the only mention of trans and Samus by any of the designers comes from an old interview where they were asked the possibility of the game coming to PS2, where they said the chances of it coming to the PS2 is as likely as Samus being transgender. So the only mention of that in any sort of way by the designers and creators of this franchise is in a relatively derogatory way, mocking the possibility that they're trans. That is not support. In fact, it's the opposite. But any sort of claims that Samus is trans is headcanon, which it's always okay to have headcanon, but it's another thing to come onto Twitter and wag your finger at people and say, you're wrong, Samus is trans, and if you believe otherwise, you're wrong. Well, glad to see they got a fact check for this one, but still, at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, despite a completely unsourced, unfounded claim, 50,000 likes. Makes you think, huh? But the person, after they got fact-checked, they got into their own personal 9/11 where they had a little bit of a breakdown and made some follow-up tweets, including this one saying, I love that transphobes have given me such immense power over their feelings. Like, how weak of a mind do you have to be to get apocalyptic over a trans woman saying a particular video game character is trans? I'm angry you said Samus is trans, and it says, see, nobody cares. Well, apparently you care, because you made a post lying about this stuff, and then made follow-up posts angry that people were questioning your viewpoint and asking for proof. And honestly, at the end of the day, think about what you did. You went online, made a completely baseless claim that was just going to make people angry for attention, and in the process, you also stole art. They stole art to make their point. You have absolutely no idea what that original artist thinks about this character, and yet you're making claims on their behalf using their art as proof. It's a very weird and invasive thing to do, and honestly, the fact that you're getting laughed at and dunked on so much by Twitter, including by the Twitter employees who are fact-checking you, very much deserved. But we're going to move on to yet another update. So I actually covered this in a video about maybe a week or two ago, and I had to censor this user because they were private at the time. I didn't know if they wanted to be public. Well, here's your chance. I know you were sad about missing out. You're back in it. This tweet caused a bunch of controversy when it was posted. You can see almost 2K quote retweets. Let's remind people why they're so angry. It says, adults only, adult conversation. And then a child shows up and says, ew, stop it, you're gross. Then the adults say, F off. And then the child says, why are you talking to me, you pedo? People were angry about this. The message is that children should not be in 18 plus spaces on Twitter. And people went absolutely nuts. And like I said, the only people angry about this, unsupervised children, as well as creepy adults who want children in these spaces. Those are the people you should be worried about. But yeah, lots of people angry. In fact, there have been variations of this post released onto Twitter. This one, posted by what I suspect is a child or possibly a creepy adult, says, every time I've seen this comic, this is what it's felt like. And they changed the message to pedo convention, pedo conversation. And then the child shows up and says, ew, stop it, you're gross. And then they say that they love children, and then the person says, you're a pedo. So, again, let's remind ourselves that they're angry about the fact that someone said children shouldn't be in 18 plus spaces on Twitter. This is how angry they are that they butchered this meme to prove what exactly? So basically, by fault of this meme, the good guy, the normal person, is visiting a pedophile convention. That's the own, is that you go to pedophile conventions and then get mad? What? Like, if this isn't a cell phone, I don't know what is. But yeah, again, these tweets somehow get immense amount of support and less backlash than the main post that we just looked at. Kind of a crazy time where saying children stay away from not safe for work spaces is a hot take. I really don't get it. But we're going to move on to one more post. You guys may have seen this meme going around on Twitter. It is the penguins from Madagascar. Basically, it's being used especially by art Twitter, where people will caption it something like, "Hey, artists, show me anime girl buttholes you've drawn." And then you get a million people responding with that. It's actually a very good way for people to grow and get exposure on Twitter. It's a very harmless meme, and honestly, it's to the benefit of everyone. It helps out artists by giving them exposure, and also benefits the viewers because you're getting a lot of good art. And also, it's very good if you like particular characters. So it'll be like, show me art of this specific character, and people will respond. So if you really like that character, you'll have a honeypot of artwork featuring your favorite character. It's a very good way for everyone to benefit. Artists grow, viewers get what they want. It's a win-win for everyone. But apparently, some people are angry, like this artist who draws themselves decapitating the penguin, which I don't know what it is with Twitter, and basically the joke, the punchline of everything nowadays is just violence. Like when you encounter things you don't like, you just kill them or hurt them. I don't know. It's some top-notch humor, I guess I just don't understand. But besides being salty enough to post yourself beheading a fictional penguin, there was a reply underneath that is just crazy. This person says, "Ah, yes, I just decided I never want to see any of your stuff again." And then the artist replies, "Who are you? LMAO, bye." Yeah, imagine being like this smug and narcissistic towards one of your followers who are just fairly not into your drawing that's mocking a very harmless meme that's going around. Like, I don't know, your ego's a little out of whack if you start acting like this. And honestly, I'm sure a lot of people are kind of awakened to the kind of person you are if you act like this towards someone who really doesn't deserve it. Just, this is how your followers are going to get treated. Why would I want to be your follower in the first place? It's absolutely insane. But yeah, we're going to conclude this video now. My God, do I hope the Lollipop Chainsaw remake is good. I'm gonna die on this hill. Please, please do not butcher it. I am excited for it, and let Juliet Starling be Juliet Starling. Let the fan service flow the way the good Lord intended. And yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Please let me know all of your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.